Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We are going to finally get into my Border Day 1 first listen, even though it's not really a first listen. If you don't know, I did react to their debut show. I didn't know we were going to get all the tracks because I'd never been to a debut showcase. I'd never watched one, so I wasn't sure if we would get all of the tracks, and we did. So I've heard all of the tracks, but I really haven't done any type of lyrics analysis. And I really like to look into the lyrics, especially from big hit label groups. They really focus on providing lyrics that have a lot of depth to them and correlate a lot to the story that they're providing with their music videos and such. So we're going to try to do some lyrics analysis, talk maybe a little bit just about song structure and what we enjoy from all the tracks. I really do love the entire album. I don't have a single track that was meh for me. Sometimes you have, a song on the album or two that just aren't your favorite, and they really are all amazing. Even the intro, if you watched my my reaction to the preview when we had the preview for the album before they had their debut, I loved Intro Walk the Line. Even from that teaser we had from that, I adore that, and I still love it. So there's really not a bad track on here. The only thing I haven't heard is the outro. I have been streaming it. I just haven't listened to it. So I haven't heard the outro yet. But people have told me it's creepy. So I mean, obviously from the preview we got, it was interesting. It had kind of like a carnival-esque. It's that Victorian time, period like they have in the music video. And I don't know why masquerade, like a masquerade type feel. I don't know. There's just something about it that's very interesting. So I'm excited to check that out. Like I said, so this is going to be very different than most of my first listens, because typically I do the first listen and I've never heard any of the tracks. I do it right after the album's released, and I just didn't have time to do that with me doing the showcase and everything. So this is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to say that it's not going to be a long video, but you know how I am. I like to talk a lot. It's already been 2 minutes that I've been doing this intro. So here we go, guys. We're going to get into this. We'll start with Intro Walk the Line, and we'll just kind of go through, the lyrics and figure out what they mean if they have a deeper meaning to them. Also, congratulations, everybody. Our Spotify, we're doing amazing on Spotify. We are doing phenomenal on Spotify. So keep it up on Spotify. Keep streaming on YouTube since we're having a lot of struggles there. I know that's one of our biggest problems. Our sales have been amazing. Just keep pushing, guys. We're doing great. The boys are going to be so proud of us. All right. Intro Walk the Line. Is this turned up? Okay.
With the rugged woods at our back, we greet the sun. It shines in our eyes, an azure light, dwelling in breathlessness. We walk.
Okay, so obviously I love this intro because with Jake's narration, before we get into some of the vocals, it's just it's telling a story. It's a narration. This is telling a story. So they walk out of the rugged woods, which is an interesting thing to say because of where Island was, being that it was surrounded by woods, and also if this has connections to the Promised Neverland. If you've read or you've seen that anime, they're surrounded by the woods as well. So I'm going to make some connections for the little bit I know from A Promised Neverland if I see things. So I love that he starts it that way. And this being an intro, I think it's a perfect way to start.
Drawn out line that cuts across the vast land.
I love this.
The world carved us on that line.
I've talked about this multiple times. They say we walk the long, drawn-out line, and it was carved out for them. And so basically, there's this line that is set forth for you by society or your family or, all these different things that it's kind of like pigeonholes you and says, hey, this is what you're going to do. They've walked that line for so long, but this album is talking about crossing that line. So that's what I think that represents there. But it can also, essentially, with the Promised Neverland, there's a wall that they're not supposed to cross. And so that could be another thing as well. Could be both,
footprints slip to? What sky spreads at the end of it?
Where do they go? Like, where, although they're following this line, where do their footprints lead them? You know, what sky, you know, what is going to be in front of them?
Even if the world that unfolds is not what we are given, to the unknown we run, carving sunrise, burning bright across the world.
Even if we don't follow that line, even if it's not what we, you know, thought we were going to have, we're going to continue to run into the unknown. We're going to provide and give the best to our, you know, of our abilities. You know, we're carving sunrises, we're burning bright, and we're going to do that across the world. We're going to do the best we can. Walk under the first day's sun. Every step we take, agony turns to bliss. Love that part. Alright, so as it said there in the end, we walk under the first day's sun. You know, this album, Border, day one, this is the first step, the first day of their journey. So this is the first day they walk under that sun, that day's sun, and they're turning any agony that they have into bliss. They're going to make, like it said earlier, they're going to make the best out of whatever's presented in front of them. Alright, guys, and then we have our title track, Give and Taken. Let me get this set up here. It's another thing, guys, if you don't know, because I know not everybody is on Twitter all the time like I am, but if you're doing like looking up lyrics, look them up on Google. There's actually a chart that we can be on for having lyrics research. Basically, when you do the lyrics videos and stuff on YouTube, that does not account for that chart. So check them out on Google. That's what I'm doing right now. So all right, guys, let's get into the title track, which I absolutely love. Like, when we heard the teaser, I was excited, but I just wasn't sure where we were going to go really with it from the little bits we got from like the preview and the teasers. But man, if you haven't watched my music video reaction, I was so overwhelmed. I didn't really get to talk about the lyrics as much as I normally would because I was so overwhelmed by the whole debut. So we're going to try to do that now. We'll try to talk about it a little bit here. We start with Wake Up in day one as well. He sings vocals. I want to stop so much in this one because I love it so much. I've talked about this on Twitter countless times. I absolutely, I'm in love with the structure that they have here for this first verse and the way that it builds and sets this tone, and it's very eerie, and it makes the drop for the chorus that much better. I am in love with the structure for this first verse. I haven't moved on from it. I have it on my phone. I watch it all the time, that specific section here. And that being all the way up to Sunghoon's part, that whole first verse there and that build towards the chorus is just phenomenal. All right, we're going to restart this.
Wake up in day one, 첫날의 아침 조명이 비춰 태양의 눈빛 그 빛은 날 불태웠지.
That little drop. All of this goes hand in hand with what we kind of talked about in the intro. So the light burned me, the light blinded me, but I go now. I'm going to follow my dreams. I'm diving into that red sun. So that bright light, you know, into that unknown that we kind of talked about in the intro. We're going to dive into that, and we're going to give it our all, even though I'm blinded. I mean, it's you got to imagine this song, if you don't know, is about debut. I mean, it's about whether what they have achieved here was given to them by the global vote, and everyone who was, you know, showing up, all of us engines, and if it's that or if it was something that they took themselves by all of the hard work that they put in and all the effort that they put in. I actually believe there's a a third option that I think is what they lead to in the music video, and I think it's actually considered fate, and that's what we see behind Sunghoon. If you saw my one post on the community post, but so that's what he's talking about here. They're going to go into it, even though it's blinding because it's a shock. I mean, imagine your life wasn't this, months ago, but now it is. It's just a complete 180 for you. You're not used to this. It's culture shock to an extent. Countless stars, countless moons. I was wandering in the woods of questions, because you don't know. Do you know if you're gonna debut? But we're not sure. You never know. As a trainee, you don't know if it's gonna be your time. But they saw the light in the dark and they followed it because they're running into the unknown. They don't care. They're gonna cross that line. You calling me over the thin line. I feel like with the music video as well, with fate coming up behind him, I think that's the actual third option besides given and taken, is that it's their fate, and that is what's calling them, and it's calling them over that line that's been set forth by society or by their families of this is what you should do with your life. This is what our family's always done, or this is what our tradition shows and stuff like that. Every culture has stuff like that. Every society kind of presses those things, but your fate, your true desire, and what you're meant to do is always going to call you, and it's going to pull you over that line that's been set for you. In a shower of fate's arrows, I face the horizon inside me. That new horizon that is inside you, what your fate is, what your dreams are, you're going to face that head on. All right, so you flip over the world. I mean, you're changing what's been set out for you. You're changing it, and you're completely flipping over that world, and you're going to go your own way. I love that. Like, I walk to you. We're walking towards our fate. And I link the two worlds, the given and taken. And that's why I actually described in the imagery we had with Jay and Jake, and then we had Sunghoon in the middle, in the back, when we start pressing towards him, we start doing a pan. I feel like Jay and Jake actually represent given and taken, and Sunghoon is in the middle, and he represents the hyphen, which is actually fate. It's the connection of those two things, whether it's given or taken. Fate's actually what it is that allows you to proceed. Thousands of doubts, mistrust, all of it's left behind you. You're going to follow your dreams. You're going forward. We're not worried about the past. We're not worrying about what's behind us. We're only looking forward. Love that line by Nicki. Between giving and taking, it's time for my proving. Like, when it comes down to it, it doesn't matter if it was given to me or whether I took it. I'm going to be here now, and I'm going to prove that I'm destined for this. That doesn't even matter. How it was come upon by me doesn't matter, because I'm going to show you that I deserve it. Love the use of like traditional instruments, this kind of like harp sound, and then we come with like this hard hitting chorus. It's just like, it's such a beautiful tone and contrast that they offer with this. And not as many groups utilize traditional instruments as I would love. I love traditional instruments, and I think they really show such a unique side of music production that people don't really utilize as much. G-Friend, one of my favorite groups, I also react to them on the channel a lot. They are huge on that. It's one of their signatures, is utilizing traditional instruments, and I think it sets them apart. It's something very unique that you don't hear very often in music in general, and K-pop specifically as well. So I'm curious with this part, we got red blood on that crown, that blood dripping down, red blood. Is it talking about battle scars basically? I mean, to get where you are in life, you've had to go through trials and tribulations. There's no way you got there without any type of harm to you physically or mentally. It's just not how it works. You know, it's how life is. We have to work through the struggles to get to the top. And so to get to the crown, there's still going to be bloodshed. If that's what I take from it. And I love the imagery. Oh my God, the music videos. It's a masterpiece. I love it. We're not here to talk about the music video though. My fingers pointing to you keep staining red, but I'm gonna go. So pointing towards your future, your goals, that line you're now setting out for yourself, that it keeps staining red. I mean, you still have to work hard. Maybe is that what we're talking about here? You still have to go through those trials and tribulations. But I'm gonna go anyway, even if it's not easy. I'm still going to go. And then we go back to the fate part. Can't not do like some of the dance stuff. It's so good. It's so good. No, we're not going to the next one yet. So good, guys. I absolutely love this. It's one of my favorites. Going into this debut, I was curious if this debut track would. My current favorite going into this was Crown. I love Crown. TXT is an amazing group. I'm a MOA myself. And I was like, will it be as good as Crown as a debut track? And it really, I wouldn't say it's better. I feel like they're completely equal to me, personally. Everybody has their own, perceptions of things, but they're so different. So it's not even possible to compare them, but they're both amazing in their own right. I'm so happy that this title track was as amazing as it was. Like, I didn't really have any doubts, but you're always worried that it's not going to be as amazing as it could be, and it just was so good. The lyrics are amazing. The music video is phenomenal, and I feel like the story that they're starting to weave is going to be a fun one. I love to theorize. If you're new to the channel, I have gotten into GFriend and BTS a lot on the channel, and I try to theorize. I love to. I might actually do some theory crafting on the Give and Take music video. I've been debating it, so if you guys are interested in that, let me know. I might just stream it on YouTube or Twitch, and then you guys can come hang out and we just theory craft, throw ideas out there, kind of work off each other, because that's the best way to theory craft in my opinion. So all right, guys, next one, Let Me In, 20 Cube. This was my most anticipated song from the album besides the title track, for the sheer fact that the title Let Me In, and the fact that our concept is vampires, was very intriguing, because Let Me In is actually a film that I watched, I don't even know how long ago. It's been quite some time, and it's based off of a novel called Let the Right One In, and it's about vampires. So I was very intrigued by this title, because I'm like, I wonder if it's gonna have some connections. So I'm interested to get into the lyrics and see if there are some connections. It was so funny too. I'm sorry, I gotta stop it. You know me, guys, I'm ridiculous. I can't. When I was, watching the music video and we were streaming and we doing all this stuff, and I'm still on Twitter trying to keep myself awake, and people were talking about, I just saw that trending was "I'll Be Your Boyfriend," and I had no idea what it was until I found out that it was from this song during the showcase. Wait a second. The lyrics I have aren't like full lyrics. I'll be your boyfriend. I'll be your boyfriend. Yeah, baby, let's go. All right, so we're saying I want to go into your cube. It's transparent through these blue waves. You're like a shining jewel. Like it's kind of that admiration you kind of see in somebody, you know. And go into your cube is more like, as we say here at the end, I want to go into your world. You know, just be part of your life is what I want to. You know, I'm just stunned by you and who you are, the beauty of you. I want to be involved in your life. That reggaetones, it's so tiny. With the preview, I thought it was going to be a lot more present, and I'm actually very happy with how they used it. And it's just here in the chorus. It's solid. It's so good. My Nemo who surfs. So will you open your windows? Something they say there, and it's just like it's one of those. Will you let me in? I mean, like going to the track, you know, title. You know, will you let me in? Will you let me into your life? Because everybody builds up walls, if you will, and it's always a choice on whether we let somebody into our life and involve them in our emotions and stuff like that. And a window, and a window is always something that's been represented as kind of it seems like windows used more than a door, but like a window to somebody's soul, like allowing somebody in. That's another thing. So we get I'll give you my love, 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 love. I'll give you my love, 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 and then I'll give you my blood. So then they got there's the somewhat vampire-esque part. Is the question. I don't know. Like, I feel like they had to be leaning towards that with that line. Ooh. Man, isn't that something that anyone that really truly loves another person kind of maybe thinks about at some point? You know, maybe I'll hurt you. I might break your perfection. I mean, I know from my viewpoint, you are perfect. I mean, everyone has their own flaws, and most of the time we don't see ourselves as perfect, but, you know, somebody that loves you a lot of times does. And so that person sometimes might worry. Like, if, you know, maybe I'll hurt you. Maybe me being a part of you, a part of your life, may break that perfection that you are. Like, you're perfect on your own, but don't push me out. You know, take it like it's that battle. Like, you're perfect, but I also want to be a part of your life. Don't push me out, you know, let me in. I love that part. I love that down. They go really like breathy and soft with that. Oh, that change up is beautiful. In the middle of the delivery of that line, you know, it's not like another line, like they break it down in the middle of it, and it's just, it makes it so unique. Bridges. See, I go back and forth on whether or not these lyrics actually are pushing towards vampire type stuff. I don't know. Like the I'll give you my blood can be interpreted in many different ways, and that's the beauty of lyrics, okay? And that's one of the main reasons I love to analyze them. It's because they can be taken different ways. Everything in the world can be perceived in different ways based on you and what you take it as. So I'll give you my blood can, head towards the vampire side of things to an extent. But it could also just be I'll give you my blood, like my blood, sweat, and tears. Like I will give you everything I can. Like I'm gonna give you my hard work. If you let me in, let me be part of your life. But then you get I can be the one for you for good. That can also just mean I want to be your one and only. I want to be the last. I want to be your last. But it can also be like the way it's stated for good. I don't know. There's an immortality sense to that to me, which obviously comes hand in hand with vampires. I love that. Baby. Dude, that song's fucking awesome. I love it. Like, people ask, what's your favorite track on the album? It's so hard, but like, honestly, I feel like that's mine. But then it's like picking a bias in this damn group. You can't. Like, I have my bias, but they all wreck the shit out of me, just like all these tracks do. All right, guys, next is 10 Months. Let's see if this one has the lyrics. It didn't have the translations either. What is wrong with you? Eventually I'll learn Korean like I would like to, and then I won't have to worry about this. All right, 10 Months. Beautiful song. I was highly anticipating it as well for the sheer fact that I felt that we were going to get a lot more focus on vocals and not as much production. But honestly, when you get to sit down and listen to all of the tracks, and that was how I felt from the preview, they really didn't go huge on production on any of these. Besides maybe the title track, obviously, there's definitely a lot of production there. But I love that. I like to really get to hear the vocals and stuff like that. And sometimes production's necessary to give a certain feel. But I really do enjoy when it's a little bit more authentic and we get to really hear vocals. And this song does really well about providing that. 10 Months. And it's just kind of a fun, cutesy concept. It's just so playful. You're not just tall, that's cute, don't do it. What's with the smile? Like, it's like a conversation. Like, you're just kind of like, you ever have that? You're talking to somebody that you like or something, and it's just like, I don't know. It's just goofiness. You're just goofy with each other, and like, it's just like a back and forth that you do. It's just cute, and that's what I feel like the song offers that, and I love that. Love that. Love. You get the breathiness and they go up. Oh, it's so good. This is just one of those fun songs. There's not like a lot of depth in the lyrics in my opinion. It seems like it's like talking about like maybe I'm not that old and I might look young. I might, they keep talking about height, but I have a big heart. That doesn't mean I can't love, largely. Is it? I think it's saying like I'm gonna give you love, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna suit you. You just have to like accept it. Just accept my love. This was just such a bop. Like it's just like I was just reading their interview with BuzzFeed. I think it was like Kpop BuzzFeed, and they were talking about the tracks they liked the most, like each of them. And 10 Months was a handful of theirs. They thought it was a lot of fun. And that's I love albums that don't take themselves too seriously, and they offer a great variety, and this does that. This album is phenomenal at doing that. It gives you so many different sounds, which is great for a debut album to really show what all they can offer. They're going to have so many different things to offer us, and you hear that because each song kind of gives you a different genre, almost like a subgenre, and gives you a different feel. So I love that about this album. All right, good old Flicker. That's next. If you don't know, Flicker is amazing. Flicker was one of my favorite. It was my favorite track from Island, next to Calling Run to You. Those were probably my two tops, and then Chamber 5 was right under that. And when we heard the preview, I was kind of, it was like, it wasn't really concerned, but like I was just like, they changed. It sounded like it was a lot higher with the preview, but I feel like when you listen to it in its entirety here, it doesn't really sound like it's that much higher. It is to an extent. It definitely is. The vocal tone they utilize here is definitely a little bit more loftier. It's a little higher than the more grunginess of the original Flicker. But I really do love this song. I was expecting going into this album to have this be one of my favorites. I mean, I still do listen to it every day because I'm finally happy I can listen to Flicker on Spotify instead of using YouTube. But it's not out of the rest of the tracks. It really isn't like my all-time out of the album, which surprised me because of how much I loved Flicker. But let's get into the lyrics for this one because I never really dove into the lyrics from Island. If I'm not mistaken, from what I remember from Island, this is about a connection between ENHYPEN and engines. This is about that growing connection over space. This distance. This is that connection, and you can feel it. I'm just gonna want to dance this whole time. So you're sending signals across this, this world to try to connect to each other, and then, you get that spark moment. It flickers. It's just talking about that spark, and it's such a cool thing because everyone has that in interactions and certain relationships. You have that spark, you feel it more and more. It grows, linked together. It's such a love letter to engines. We didn't know that necessarily back then. I mean, it was supposed to be about the connection to the fans of Island, but now when you have this on their debut album, this is a love letter to engines. This is, we'll always be there for each other. We are connected. We're one. You know, we have this beautiful bond, that the spark, and it's going to just continue to grow over time. And that's something, I'm getting kind of off subject of the lyrics here, but this is something that people really need to understand. We are a brand new fandom. We haven't had very long to build. Yes, we are pretty large for a starting fandom because of the show Island, but there will be continued growth. Okay, we're all gonna grow together, us and the boys, and that's okay. All we can do is do our best right now and provide as much, as we can with what we have. So I know people get worried about some of our goals and stuff, but we're gonna grow together, guys. This is just the beginning. We have so much time ahead of us. So just going back to that last part there, it's like it talked about a pair of like particles entangled even from a distance. I mean, that's kind of like almost like a fate, like a fate type of thing, which we talk about obviously in Give and Taken. And you know, like we're fated. If you're, you know, part of this fandom, we're fated with them to be there to support them through this journey. Mm, so good. I love the added production. There's just, you can hear some more stuff in the background, obviously compared to the Island version, with some vocal sampling. They kind of sped up and made high pitched. I talked about that in the preview, and then there's just kind of some resonance you hear there at the end. It kind of like finishes and like, I don't know. It makes it feel so big, with such little addition. I feel like production wise, so it's good. It's great. All right, guys, this is the last track on the album, Cross the Line, outro Cross the Line. All right, it says that this is, I mean, if this is correct, it says Jay and Jake do this. It's a narration, which I was very curious. Well, actually, I don't know if it's a narration. I would assume it's a narration because it's not all of them. I talked about this in the preview. I was just very curious if this was going to have any type of vocals or what it was going to be, because in the preview, we got no vocals, we got no talking, no narrations, nothing. So I'm really excited, guys. Wow, it's almost 2 minutes long. Whew. Outro, Cross the Line. Yeah, I'm excited, guys. I'm excited to listen to this.
With our last step, we dance across this line into a new world.
And that right there alone tells you, it says with our last step, because we're talking about crossing that line now. We're talking about that line that was set out for you by society, family, traditions, culture, whatever it may be. You're crossing that line. You're not going to follow that line anymore. You're going to kind of make your own way. I like that it says we dance across the line. Not as much we just walked across the line, we stepped across the line, not sure. At this point now, we are dancing across the line. We fully embraced it. We are happy, you know, with this choice. You know, that's what I feel like the dance part actually kind of leans towards, and says into a new world, because the world that we had before, this is not the same. Oh my gosh, it's so creepy. Does this not remind you of a carnival? That's all I can think about, is like the old school circus tent carnivals and stuff. And you got like people with like a little monkey with like an accordion. And like, that's all I can think about. Oh my goodness.
We wait for our given days and sleep. What days may come, as the sun must rise again.
It talks about it. It says carnival. I was reading the lyrics before they came up. I love strings. Oh, this is even creepier than the end of the music video. Oh. Ugh. Makes your skin crawl. I love it. These kids singing and stuff just pushes you back into that Promised Neverland thing. Like, if you guys haven't watched the anime, it's got a season. It's on Netflix. I think it's 12 episodes. There should be another season, I think, actually coming next year. And it's just like, it's about all these kids that are in this kind of like home together. And so, like, there's a lot of younger kids, and then there's some older ones, more. I think they're around like 12-ish, the older ones. And so it's like, just with this singing, and they play outside together in that show, and like, that just brings me back into that. I already very much feel like there's a connection from the little I've already seen, and I need to read it too, because I know there's going to be a lot more. Oh my god. What? That progression sounds 100% like part of the Phantom of the Opera. I freaking love that. That is my favorite opera. I love musicals and operas, if you didn't know. Oh, that gives me such Phantom of the Opera vibes. Oh my god, it's creepy. They got this distortion on his voice. It's so weird. And then this build we're getting in the back. Ah. Dude, what the fuck?
If I wake from dreamless sleep, may tomorrow begin like a dream.
What? If I wake from dreamless sleep, may tomorrow begin like a dream. I never, like, you never want to leave this dream. Is that what we're talking about here? Because this is their dream. Oh my goodness, that was trippy as hell. I don't know what to take from it, except for I feel like there is a lot there that I need to uncover, and I'm not being able to grasp right now because I'm like shocked. Days like a flipped carnival where up is down and down is up, and life is mixed with death, are what we must survive. I don't know. Oh my goodness. That was trippy. I was not prepared for that at all. This album's so awesome, guys. It's just such a ride. And like, for a debut album, I feel like that's just so and obviously big hit being involved in B-Lift. They've perfected this. They've been doing it for so long now. They kind of know what to do and what not to do. So that is something great that our boys have working for them. They have such a great staff to help them, continue to prosper. So I feel like this album is just such an interesting album for a debut because it offers so much. And like I said, it's like a really cool fucking story. And I just can't wait to figure out more lore. I'm very curious if we're going to get any more music videos. I really don't think we will. What do you think, guys? If we did, what would it be? Would they maybe do Flicker, you think? Because Flicker's just kind of that song. But I mean, honestly, it's always been that song, and I think that after this album release, everyone's loving "Let Me In" 10 Months so much as well, that maybe we won't get Flicker, and we'll get something else if we do get one. Or maybe they'll do outro Cross the Line. How creepy would that be? I mean, we had Walk the Line, we had intro Walk the Line. I'd be kind of curious to see if we got outro Cross the Line, because it would be a trippy ass video. I'd be down for it though, because I think that it really, I feel like intro Walk the Line, I feel like Given and Taken, and maybe Flicker. Not totally sure about that. And then outro cross the line. I think those are the story driven ones, because every song on the albums usually aren't completely story driven, in their like lore. I'm not saying they don't have depth to them. I'm not saying they don't have the other songs don't have any story to them. I'm just saying when it comes down to like the lore that's the foundation of the group and stuff, like the stories that they have that intertwine with some of the other groups sometimes in these companies. I think that the intro, the outro, and Given and Taken are the main ones that are going to be involved in the story. So I feel like those are kind of the ones that would lean towards getting music videos or some type of video with them. But I'm curious, guys, what do you think? Do you think we'll get another music video? If we do, which one do you think it will be for? Do you have a preference on your favorite track? Is there one? Like I said, I feel like Give and Taken obviously is my favorite, but after that would probably be Let Me In. But they really are all just amazing, so I can't really pick, to be honest with you. So, but let me know, guys. Let me know down in the comments what you guys thought about this album, your favorite tracks, if you think we'll get another music video. And thank you guys so much for waiting for this video. I know it took longer to come out than it should have. We were really pushing to get that goal for streaming, and I did not want to do anything but focus on streaming. I didn't want to do this. Because it was going to take a lot of time to record and then edit and all that. So I wanted to focus on making sure we hit our goal for that first 24 hours. So I appreciate everybody that waited for this, because I know a lot of people like to watch my first listens. And like I said, I know this one's a little bit unorthodox because I had heard most of the songs except for the outro. So thank you guys so much for stopping by the channel. Thank you for supporting me, my fellow engines. And if you liked the video, make sure you hit a thumbs up down below and subscribe if you'd like to see more content from me. And I'll see you guys down in the comments.